She said that American soccer fans, most of them aren't smart. They don't know the game. They don't understand.
Gio.
That guy gazpacho.
Sports can take a lame gorilla, okay?
Right, did you know that Arsenal died?
He's got me buzzing.
Up the TOFFEEs. It's hard to up them anyway.
I'm just not even gonna comment on that.
This is the correct call.
Welcome back to Footy with the boys. We have potentially our greatest episode ever, so make sure to stay tuned, subscribe, hit like.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. There's a lot of possibilities for this one. We'll run through our big news, including a potential takeover that could change the dynamic of world football itself for Everton. We'll check in with the Gunners and Everton before their games this weekend, as well as another featured matchup for our Red Devils of Manchester United versus the Spurs. Running through the rest of the Premier League before we get into the US men's national team corner as always. And then we'll hit you with our lock of the week competition to close us out. I mean, listen, we're no financial advisors, but if you were to put your retirement savings into these bets, we're pretty damn good. Once again, not financial advice here. But boys, here's some financial advice. Everton have a lot of money, and they should spend a lot of it because they are going to be taken over by a new group, not Texter, not the American that owns Lyon and Botafogo in Brazil, but instead the owners of Roma are coming in here. They finalized the deal. They swoop back in because John Texter, couldn't get his Crystal Palace stock sold. These guys come in, they say, "Fuck it, we're taking advantage." I like it, Mike. I like money coming into Everton. I like people coming in as new owners. They're going to be ambitious. They already own Roma, and Roma's what I would think is a pretty decently ran club over there in Italy. Mike, they did fire Mourinho at Roma, though. Is Sean Dyche feeling a little heat now? New owners coming in. Maybe they're not liking 1 point through 5 games because how the hell could you? And if they already fired Mourinho, is Sean Dyche really going to be the guy that they say, no, let's give him a chance?
Dude, I'm optimistic about the ownership change. It needed to happen. It's been a long time coming. So many things have fallen through. Obviously, the whole issue with the 777 group and the brand sponsorship was a whole nother thing with money being owed on many different parties. But I'm hesitant. I don't think Roma is a very well-run club. I think they're actually a very shit-run club. So that makes me nervous. I thought that sacking Mourinho was a bad decision. I mean, I get Mourinho's league play hasn't been great in a number of years, but he's still a super high-paying manager. Does really well in cup competitions. And they did it to bring in really an untested manager in Daniel De Rossi. And then they just did the same thing to him last week. They gave him really no time, brought in a bunch of big signings and said, guess what? Your job's over as well, and sacked him. So that kind of quick turnover at club always makes me nervous, especially at a club like Everton and the state we're in. But we'll see. We'll see. I've seen a few rumors about Graham Potter, David Moyes, number of names around the manager job. Nothing that seems like a surefire thing. It just seems like talkings, but it's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I still think I would have preferred John Texter taking over because he owns Botafogo, and they're obviously doing amazingly well in Brazil, which are not historically some great power. Then Lyon as well. I mean, they just bought Tanner Tessman, so that's some beautiful business right there. And I thought that we had some type of agreement kind of in place for that one already. So this was a bit shocking to see, but I'm going to get behind it as long as they're willing to make some ambitious moves and spend some money. And really see that's what you kind of need to compete in the Premier League today. Hopefully they can do that. Nick, I know you were really excited about this. The Europa League is beginning.
I hate you.
Some big matchups. I can't really name any of those big matchups because there aren't any that are that great. But hey, Eric Ten Hag, is he gonna cook, man? Is he gonna cook in the Europa League?
That's the prevailing theory, born to play on the off week, I guess. It sucks that we cannot say on Thursdays anymore. Like it's every other week just doesn't sound as good. It doesn't give the same vibe. And I don't want to watch the Champions League every week. I don't need this 4 days in a row thing. Every single week I want to have Champions League football on. Not sure if I love this new format. Dude, the games suck for Europa League. I'm taking the week off of European football. Catch me watching the Prem this weekend.
Mike, you're not watching Michelin versus Hoffenheim?
I don't think I will. If I had to give you a good match,
not a real ball fan
this
this
week. Apparently not. Roma, our new owners, are playing Bilbao. That's a solid matchup. That could be a fun one to watch. And Manu, who just brought up, they're playing FC Twente from Eredivisie. Ten Hag's former club, was a player there and then started his managerial career. So some context. He said something on the lines of, I would have liked to match up with a different team because we're going to shit on them. So that sounds like Man U's going to lose tomorrow.
I might watch just because it'd be really funny if he says that and then loses. But Nick, I agree. It's as the Sean Deitch meme has spread to America, utter woke nonsense here. Having Europa Leagues not on just Thursdays is just not right. Just not right.
I don't like
Shout out Pau. Shout out Pau. That is actually a banger matchup. Greek teams, Turkish teams, they hate each other. There's going to be flares. There's going to be passion, aggression, fucking mindset. Let's go, Pau.
In this football
Trojan
club.
War, baby.
Speaking of mindset in this football club, Arsenal coming off of a 10-man draw with Manchester City. Go into another big matchup here, Nick. Leicester City. Still missing Odegaard and, still behind Manchester City after what was a disappointing draw, I would say, from an Arsenal perspective. What are you looking to see from this game after such a high emotion game of that Man City bout?
Dude, our last 5 games have been Villa away, Brighton home, Tottenham away, Atalanta away, Man City away. Holy, what an absolute ringer to be put through, and to lose your captain like in the earlier half of that 5-game run is something else entirely. Obviously, Marino looks like he's in the next, I'd say probably 3 to 4 weeks going to feature, but he's been out since he's gotten here. So it's been a bit of a ringer. It's honestly a little bit of a take a breath this weekend when it comes to Leicester City, which I think can worry you. I've said it on this podcast on Sunday. I'm not really I'm not a guy who's still doubting Arsenal's mentality. We used to be soft as hell. We used to get pushed around. Jesse Lingard did like the disco dance and moonwalk at the Emirates. Like that's where we were as a club circa 2017. We are not those people anymore. This is a hardened, veteran, mentally tough team that I think are ready to take that next step as champions. We'll see if it shakes out that way or not, but there is a spot for a letdown. I just told you those 5 games. There was a lot mentally, a lot of strain on the players, a lot of attention to detail that had to go in. And I think to look at a side like Leicester, who currently sits in 17th in the league, I believe it's fair for as a human to be like, hey, like, let's take a breath. This should be an easy win at the Emirates. I know that's not how Arteta thinks. And I know there are people in the squad that will still maintain the level. Let's see if the entire squad is able to. I think they will. I think it's going to be a win here. Very excited to see, hopefully, the debut of Ethan Nwaneri in the Premier League. I hope he starts. I don't think he will, but I think he's going to get a good run regardless, like 20, 30 minutes. We have not looked creative with Odegaard out. It's been first it was a midfield of Jorginho, Partey, and Havertz. Then it was Rice, Partey, and Havertz, and Havertz didn't complete a pass this past weekend. So it has not been a creative juggernaut. I think he is the guy who he is good enough to provide that spark. I want to see him in there. Excited to see Calafiori again. And just get back to playing Arsenal ball. We've had to kind of play a little sheltered these past couple weeks, I think. Play a little hard-nosed football. Hopefully we can get back to some beauty in the game and and put a couple past this Leicester team. I don't think it's going to be a murder, even though it kind of profiles as that. But I think a healthy win, clean sheet is very much in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very much in the cards. I think the only thing you can really think of is Arsenal going to have a bit of a intensity hangover after such a crazy match with Man City, with all the drawing after the match, the red card, the emotions within that. I think that's the only chance Leicester City here has, but certainly from an Everton perspective, would love for Arsenal to show up on this one and just demoralize Leicester City, as they do seem to be a relegation scrapping team here. So might be able to just put a few past them, kill that morale, and let Everton, do some things. Speaking of doing some things, Mike, Everton will have to do something against Crystal Palace this weekend. Honestly, if you asked me about the start of the season or after the first week, I would have said Crystal Palace should absolutely beat Everton. Everton maybe still should be beat, but Crystal Palace is off to a awfully slow start here, Mike. Glasner had the boys buzzing last season. This season, not so much, just 3 points. Everton sitting at 1. Braithwaite back for Everton. Does that fix enough with Everton? I mean, the defense has been the issue. And for a lot of that, we've pointed at Deitch because he is a defensive coach and said that's not good enough. Is Braithwaite enough coming back to say, hey, listen, we've scored against Aston Villa. We've scored against Bournemouth. We've scored against Leicester City to have leads. Is this a chance where maybe once he is back, we can actually hold a lead for once in our goddamn life?
I think maybe. This is crazy, right? We have 6 teams that are winless at this point of the season.
That's
weird to see. A lot of shit teams at the moment. Crystal Palace is super surprising. They were so hot coming off last year, and I was optimistic about them this season, continuing that. Have yet to find the goal scoring form. That front 3, I think it'll probably still be the same. Mateta, Eddie, and then Eze underneath. It is scary if they can figure out how to link up together, but they haven't done it yet. Braithwaite makes me optimistic. If he's ready to go, which I think he is, played a full 90 in the midweek with the U21s. That's huge. Him and Tarkowski have great chemistry together. He's obviously a phenomenal player, does everything well, is better than Michael Keane in every sense of the word, which is not saying much, but it's a lot for me. The other guys make me a little nervous. I think our fullback situation is still not ideal. I don't know if Mikolenko will be back. He's still dealing with some sort of illness. And then the right back situation. We could see Patterson. He also played the first game back from injury.
Big.
He's at least younger than our 39 and 37-year-old right back, so he can run. That is something to be optimistic about. The rest of the team, I think we could score goals. I think we'll see. That's not been an issue for us. We have been able to score some goals in almost every match, which is great. I like the attack. We just have to shut it down in the back. And with Braithwaite around, I think we could do that. I hope to see a strong midfield pairing. I think Mangala has to start based off that last performance. And then James Garner could slip back in after having a solid game of right back, or it could be Tim. Those would be the 2 options for me. I don't think Gana Gay deserves really any minutes. Definitely not the start. He's been very washed all season. I thought Decore was okay there last week. But defensively, he's not great. I think he's used to playing that more elevated position, which he played a lot of last year. So I think he could hold bench. And then I think the front 4 has to be the same that started last week. Lindstrom and Ndiaye, DCL, and Shite McNeil. I think that's the team for success.
I think an underrated part of Braithwaite is he is so good on the ball too. Like he is going to help you just be able to keep possession for longer. Anytime Keane gets anywhere near it, he just hoofs it, dude. Like he either hoofs it or does a sideways / backwards pass that is not progressive at all. So I think that's going to help out a lot. Be able to find runners, be able to just keep control of games a little bit more. Because yes, there's defensive issues, but it's not like you have a juggernaut defensive midfielder to really shield the back 4. So really being able to control the ball and just not really not allowing as many opportunities for them to attack against you, I think that's going to be the place where he makes the biggest difference. Because Keane's a shithouse, but he can defend. He's a defender in the Premier League. It's just everything else that sucks.
I think it's a fair point, and I think it might elevate Jordan Pickford again as well, because we've been overly reliant on him to distribute, which he's fine at, but being able to play short to competent center back is a huge option. Will open up runs up top. He's not looking to play long every single time, which we've seen a ton of so far this season.
Yeah, because Tarkowski's not that guy either.
No, he's fine on the ball, but not a progressive, not a line splitter where Branthwaite can do that.
Yeah.
I think that's also why you want to see maybe Eric Bunham, Mangala pairing in that midfield, is they've shown they're the ones that give a bit more control, and
definitely.
And that's really what you need. It seems like the punting up the field strategy is just not working for some reason. So maybe a little bit more control helps us out.
Really ball, baby.
That is what we saw a bit against Leicester at the start when we were looking good. That control and building it up and playing the play between McNeil and Dye that made us look dangerous and actually fun to watch for a bit. Just need that defense to hold up. Boys, another big matchup, though, including Manchester United, not just in the Europa League, but against Tottenham on Sunday here. Big matchup here against some very interesting sides. I mean, Ange Postecoglou is starting to get some heat for maybe not living up to the hype that he had set for himself after such a hot start last season. Erik ten Hag has been under fire for, a year and a half now? I mean, he's living in the fire right now. 4 points in the last 4 games for Manchester United. What happens here in this game, Mike? And who needs the points? Who needs the win more out of these two teams? Because I think both teams are somewhat desperate, would you say?
Yeah, I think desperate's right. I think both are starting their seasons on the wrong foot. Ten Hag, lucky to keep his job this year and showing that it's the wrong decision currently. Big Ange, tough end of the season after starting so well. Made huge promises this offseason. Talked about so much how he's a second season manager. He wins trophies in his second season. And they've been quite disappointing. I mean, they've been scoring goals, but they've seemed to be figured out by a lot of teams. He doesn't seem to be tactically able to adjust. He's very strict in his ways. So both teams definitely need a result here. I think Tottenham's going to do it. I am more convinced by what they offer, and I think their players are better. So at the end of the day, it's the 11 on the pitch most of the time. And those 11 guys, I'll take over the Man U Devils 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Nick, kind of looking at the players here, who of Manchester United would you take in that Spurs 11 if you could make it combined? I feel like it is a kind of overwhelming majority of Spurs players that would take those 11 spots up, which, for speaking about Manchester United, is where they are as a club. That is shocking.
Yes and no. I think a lot that's wrong with the players at Man U is Man U, and maybe not so much the players. Like, I think I'd take. Am I crazy for taking Xerxes and Højlund over Solanke?
Yeah, probably. Solanke scored a shit ton of goals in the Premier League.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm not that convinced. I think I'd take him over. Maybe not like for a game, but if I'm building a team, I'd rather have one of those two guys. I think Bruno you take, obviously. I think he'd be better outside of Man U. I would take, I mean, I absolutely hate the guy, but Lissandro over Udogie, not as a center back, but at the left back spot. I think him and Van de Ven would be a pretty good spot. Who's the right back? Pedro Porro. I fucking hate Pedro Porro, but he's probably better than, probably better than Matsarawi and Dallo. Yeah, I thought there'd be more. I guess there's not that many. Onana.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd take Onana over Vicario.
Over Vicario, really?
Yeah, I think Vicario's a clown. He is the worst person in his own box. Like, he has good reflexes and that's it. But that is all he offers. I know Onana started horribly, but I actually like him as a keeper quite a bit. Manu too, I guess you could say. Kobe Manu in that midfield. So 4 or 5, I think would be fair. What would who like for sure from Spurs gets into Man U's 11?
I mean, Son for
Son.
sure. I would say Solanke would
I
get
don't
in
know.
there.
For sure, though. I think it's a conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
I think he does.
I feel like it's
He's more of a
He's trying
proven
to
goal
get-
scorer. I think Pedro Porro gets in. I think he's a better
both center
two-way
backs.
fullback.
I think.
I think Van de Ven and Romero both get in, unless De Ligt is really at his best.
I'd take De Ligt over Romero. I don't give a shit.
We haven't seen the best out of the Ligt in
I don't give a shit.
3 years.
Romero's a thug, bro. He's not a real
I'm a
defender.
Romero truther. I think
He is
Basuma,
not a real defender.
Basuma gets into the
Wow.
midfield for me in Man U.
Yeah.
And then I think Brennan Johnson has a legit shout to start at wing.
No, he
Over it.
does.
Yeah, the Man U
I mean,
wing.
at Man U, yeah. Right
I'd
now,
take-
they're throwing Amad Diallo and Garnacho. You don't think Brennan Johnson has the chance to be over them and Marcus Rashford, who was in form but now is not starting for some reason as well?
I'd
I feel
take
like they have
Rashford.
Great options.
I'd take Rashford and just hope he has one of his good days. What Brennan Johnson at his best is what? Like scoring a tap in because he made a good run. Like that's it.
Yeah, but realistically, what is
The Welsh
Manchester
Messi?
United wingers at their regular?
Yeah, but Rashford at his
No.
best is a match winner.
Yeah, but how often is he at his best?
Every time Ten Hag doesn't play him.
Every time there's a harvest moon, blood moon on the third solar cycle, all of a sudden he's back.
We'll never
I mean, I
forget
think-
those 6 months.
I think he just needs to get away from Eric Ten Hag or Manchester United. One of the two has
Or
got to
both.
switch because we've seen Marcus Rashford. Yeah, or both, honestly.
But
Boys.
Onana over Vicario, right? Also, I think so.
I don't know. I kind of like Vicario over Onana, but I could
That's
see it
crazy.
both ways. I'm not that strong on
I'll
it.
go Onana for the moment, just off that save he had against Crystal Palace. Got to go on.
But he's so much better with the ball at his feet. Like Vicario isn't really a passer.
Yeah, but Onana's so error prone. I feel like it. I don't
Did
like
you
that.
see? Did you see Vicario on Arsenal's goal? He just stood on the line. Like
I
Onana
didn't
is
see
Onana
Onana
Mike's-
like
That's his
50
face.
different times though.
Onana
Vicario
is
was
Mike's keeper of the
outstanding
year
last
last
season.
year.
You said Vicario's an outstanding keeper.
He was outstanding last season. Like
He was outstanding for like the
performing
first
at
3 months. That's
the
it.
expected goals. Oh, he was huge. He was massive all season for them. I mean,
No,
they-
not
they-
all
had
season.
no
He
business
dropped
taking-
off. He
Listen,
dropped off hard.
Onana Vicario talk is not, I don't think, the most important part of this matchup. Let's get into
It
some
might
score
be.
predictions though.
It
before
might
we
be.
move on. Nick, what is your idea of what the score line will look like here? With all this said about the teams, the players, and who's has the better players, what is the score line at the end of the day?
It's at Old Trafford. Give me a Man U statement win that is kind of fraudulent. I'll go
Statement win.
2-1. 2-1 Man U.
Mike?
Scratch that. 3-2. 3-2.
Mike?
3-0 Tottenham Hotspur.
Oh, damn.
I'm going 2-1 Tottenham Hotspur over Manchester United here. I think Man U get some shit goal, but Tottenham, I think Son gets a double on him. A dubski.
2 for Son,
boy.
1 for James Madison, Jamie Madison.
Maybe
I
they'll
mean, you'd rather have Bruno than Madison, right?
I'd have them both.
Nah.
I mean, if you're playing Eriksson as one of your central mids at Manchester United, why not play James Madison as well?
Well, the midfield 3 is definitely, in my opinion, Kobe, Basuma, and Fernandes. Is that crazy?
Fernandes.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's
Well,
crazy.
it's either that or I put James Madison in, drop Bruno back, and take Kobe out. I think Basuma's guaranteed for me.
Yeah, but even
Yeah.
he's been spotty, huh?
I mean, he was
I mean,
taking whippets
yeah.
a week before the season started.
That's fair. That's
Maybe
fair.
his head's not there.
Really, if you factor that in, he's been very consistent for the circumstances.
Brain cells are coming back, dude.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's run down the rest of the games here in the Premier League. As always, we'll ask what catches your eye or what you should look out for here. We start with Manchester United, or Manchester City, that is, facing off against Newcastle. It is the game that in the Middle East will have all the money and eyes watching it because both them, oil money clubs here, a lot of money. Who knows how the refs will ref this one? But Manchester City without Rodri, potentially without KDB again here. So some interesting storylines around this, how Man City can rebound themselves after such an emotional matchup versus Arsenal. Chelsea versus Brighton. Pretty good matchup here, boys. I mean, Enzo Maresca versus Fabian Hurtzler, both new managers that have made so far a good impression. I think whoever wins this, I think it's a big statement for either side of what their intent is on their season. Chelsea win. Very, very impressive start to the season. Brighton, I think, might need a bit of a win here after some draws as of late. Brentford versus West Ham. West Ham, like we've said, what happened? They had so many great signings. I was hyping them up so much. Brentford scores within the first 20 seconds of every game, but then can't hold on. Who knows what will happen in this one, but it might be a pretty good matchup there. As we already talked about, Everton and Crystal Palace, Arsenal and Leicester City. Another sneaky good matchup here, boys, is Nottingham Forest versus Fulham. Anthony Jedi Robinson getting revenge for the American Gio Reyna in this one. That's what I'm saying. Hat trick for Jedi Robinson. Book it. You can see it here. Arsenal Light versus Nottingham Forest, no problem. Liverpool will be going up against Wolves. Last time I said Liverpool had an automatic win was against Nottingham Forest. And you know how that went. So Liverpool with an automatic win here against Wolves. Aston Villa will be going up against Ipswich Town. This one seems like a game that's going to have a lot of goals, but only for one of the teams here. Of course, Manchester United and Tottenham. And then we have Bournemouth versus Southampton. If you are not a fan of either of these sides and you're still watching it, you really love ball, man. I respect that. That's something. Nick, what catches your eyes out of these games here?
I think this is an amazing slate. I'm so excited for this weekend. I think the Palace Everton game is really good too. I have Brighton on fraud alert. I think they're getting a little bit overhyped right now, and I think Chelsea's going to expose them. And I think Chelsea are going to prove that they've gotten better. I think that Brighton are going to prove they're a fine mid-table team. They're not this undefeated side that we keep talking about. Same for Nottingham.
Mike, what about you?
I think all these matchups are pretty great. Like, I'd be happy to watch almost every single game. Thank God the Bournemouth Southampton game's the 1:00 on Monday. It's always a good game. That's a time for a shit game. No one's watching that in the States. Not missing anything. If I had to pick one, probably be Man City Newcastle, just because that's the headliner for sure. But Nottingham Fulham, that's going to be a fun one. Nottingham undefeated currently. Fulham really turning up. These teams are going to run at each other. I expect goals on both sides.
Yeah. Boys, am I the only one to think that Man City Newcastle might be a bit of a blowout in Man City's way? I don't think Newcastle.
Wink, wink.
Newcastle
at
really
St. James.
Wildly convincing.
It's at St. James.
It's Man City.
I feel like Man City has looked so good in terms of scoring goals, and Newcastle, I mean, a decent record. I can't say that they've been in terrible form, but I haven't been that convinced by really anything they've done this season. They've struggled a bit against, Southampton with that red card and come from behind in certain games. A loss. I just haven't been convinced, and I think Man City might kind of expose them a bit here in this one. Is it that far-fetched?
No. I think you're on the money here.
No.
Erling Haaland's purple patch goes any longer, they give him a purple heart, and I think it will. I mean, this seems like more than one goal. More than one goal for Haaland this game. That back line's banged up at the moment. Those center backs can't touch him. He finished so casually against the best back line in the league, in my opinion, on this past weekend. I'll expect him to do it again on Saturday.
I think I think that this has Isak scoring in the 7th minute and then Newcastle losing 4-1 written all over. like
It really
like
does.
just a glimmer
I
of
like that
hope. A glimmer of hope, and then they just get crushed. Am I crazy? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I'm just saying keep an eye on it. I might like Wolves to get a little draw against Liverpool. I think the eye test, which I go off of. Hey, listen, everyone was shitting on the bees last year and the cherries. Wolves look good when I see them play, bro. I think they're just getting unlucky with results, and they've given them problems in the past. I'm pretty sure they tied last year too. So I'm just saying I won't be shocked if it happens. Come back to this moment in the pod.
Wolves have given up 14 goals this season so far, brother.
I like the way they look.
And 14 is all they get. God damn it!
I've seen them.
You heard it.
I've seen them play 2 games, and I've liked the way they played in both games.
I mean, they have like 2 of the top 5 wingers in the world right now with Salah and Diaz. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think Wolves have shown that they're world stoppers here, but we'll see. We will definitely see. What we'll also see is in the U.S. men's national team corner, we will see Mauricio Pochettino coach his first competitive game for the U.S. now announced in St. Louis for that one against still an undetermined opponent. That's going to be determined here in October. Some type of CONCACAF foe in November there. So we do have our date for the first competitive Pochettino game. Regardless, it should be a win no matter who sneaks into that game with us. Gio Reyna is also back to training, so that's a good bump for maybe this October camp. And then, boys, there's been a lot of talk after Christian Pulisic scores in his Milan derby, scores against Liverpool in the Champions League, and just this run of form he's been on of Pulisic, world class. Pulisic, he's him. He's the best in the Serie A for wingers. He's the best this. Where is Christian Pulisic currently in the world in terms of just wingers in his own position? Where does he rank?
Really quick, I have a list together, and I'm just going to say names, and you guys tell me who you would take, Pulisic or him. Down?
All right.
Okay. Should I get my number first, or should we do yours?
You can say your number. I think he's top 10.
I think he's top 10 as well.
Okay, let's go through his list. I have left and right wingers. We'll start with Flags and then go to Mike. It starts easier, but Mbomo.
No.
Yeah, right. Doku.
No.
You take Pulisic over Doku?
Unless the outside back is like 35, then that is Doku's world, baby. There's nobody I'm taking over that.
Doku is faster. No.
Yamal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh God, how the fuck this guy get Bowen?
No.
These 3 guys. I don't know why I put them on the list. Bowen, Gordon, and Jadon Sancho. Pulisic over all of them, right?
No.
Yep.
Kudush
would have a shout. Not right now.
Kudush.
Who is it? No,
but close. He's good, but he's not been in the same form.
All right. Now it gets interesting. You ready? Savinho.
No.
Really?
I think he's close.
Oh.
He's up there. He's close, but Pulisic is.
Savinho might become better very quickly, but Pulisic's better right now.
All right, Coman.
At the moment, 8.
No, Kingsley Coman. Okay, he's had a rough year, so that's fair. Rafinha.
Yeah, he might be.
Yeah.
I take Pulisic over Rafinha.
Rafinha right now 5 goals. He's on a tear right now. He's in.
I know. I think I'd take him. Yoda.
No.
Yoda.
Diego Yoda.
Oh, it's Jota.
Jota, whatever.
No.
Rodrigo.
What the fuck you say Yoda for? As if he's from Star Wars.
Rodrigo's better. Yeah.
You take Rodrigo, right?
I think
you take
Rodrigo and Mbappe, Vinicius might be.
I have.
Wingers.
I didn't put Kylian. I put him as a striker, but I do have Vinny. You take Vinny over.
Yeah.
Maybe the most interesting one, Leao.
No, not right now.
Take Poli. Dembele has been doing well at PSG.
Not right now. Nope.
Musiala.
He's a cam.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's a winger.
Okay, fair. Grealish.
No.
Oh, I don't know. I think I take Grealish over Pulisic.
Really?
dude.
Right now,
Yeah.
Grealish, what has he done that has put him above?
I'm a huge Grealish believer. Foden.
Mm,
Pulisic's better than Foden right now.
I'll take Pulisic over Foden too on any day.
yeah.
Saka.
Can I say that
No, I'd say Saka.
Mike and Flags
Saka's
are
better,
in
yeah.
sync on this? It is kind of crazy.
Yeah, neither of them are disagreeing. I love it. Salah,
Yeah.
obviously Salah.
Yeah. Salah.
Lucho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he's
you do.
arguably the best winger in the world right
I
now.
think you
Him,
do.
Salah.
I think you do.
Him, Salah,
Son?
and Yamal, I think are top 3.
No,
No,
Pulisic's
not
better than
now.
Son right
I
now.
don't think
I think
right
you
now.
take Pulisic over Son. I like that. Sane?
Son's
I
in the
think
middle
I think
more.
that's a one I would
Pulsic's better than
respect
Sane
either
right now.
side, but not Sane.
Sane? No?
No.
Oh, I think I take Sane over Pulisic. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm.
No.
All
I
right,
think
here's
that's
my
why
best
this-
one and the last one. Nico Williams.
Yeah,
Pulisic.
take Nico Williams.
Ooh.
That's
So you guys
8. That's
agreed?
8 that we counted.
Yeah, you put him eighth. So
Here's what I'll say
Yeah.
about Pulisic. There's only one winger in the Serie A that comes close to him. That's how far ahead he's of every other winger in the Serie A. And that winger
Is he the
Victor
best
Kvaratskhelia.
player in Serie A right now? Best player over Lautaro Martinez over. I mean, obviously Rafa Leao's been better than him this season, and
He's in the best
is
form.
he?
He's in the best form
Probably.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he has the most goal contributions, most everything for a winger. Assist, he's I think second in the league, and goals, he's tied for first. So
Some great players.
it's hard to
but
argue against him.
I'm not taking anybody over Pulisic at the moment in this area.
yeah, I'm trying to look up players who are in this area because I think Lautaro Martinez is a fair shout that you can take him over Pulisic,
Yeah,
right?
But Martinez,
I mean,
yeah.
it's absurd the form that Christian Pulisic is in right now, and he is the
Nico
star of-
Barella,
no
Dybala.
Relative class.
Dybala.
Dybala's
No.
class, but not right now. No.
What's the name of the Napoli kid?
Oh,
Kvaratskhelia?
Kvaratskhelia?
Yeah,
He's the only winger I think who's close to Pulisic at the moment, but I think Pulisic's
But in
better.
terms of form, nobody's beating.
yeah. I
Pulisic.
think I'd take Pulisic over everyone right now. I think Martinez is the only guy that you can make an argument for. Everyone else,
I mean, the important thing is if Pulisic
There's
can
some defenders.
continue this form for a full season, that would be absurd. That would be by the largest margin possible, the most impressive thing an American has ever done in the sport. If he can keep this form up for an entire season,
yeah, true.
lead a league in goal contributions, be this gigantic of a contributor for what is one of the biggest, most historic clubs in all of world football. I mean, that's setting the ceiling. That's moving the ceiling of U.S. soccer and what American players have done miles and miles ahead of what anybody else has done. Because quite honestly, he's already at the ceiling right now. He is the one pushing that, winning a Champions League, going to Chelsea and becoming a player there. And what he's doing right now with Milan. I mean, it's as far as Christian Pulisic will pull the American kind of hype train here.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the
Golden boy.
only
That's the real golden boy.
area of
Yeah.
improvement or like smallest knock I could give him is I think his contribution to the game kind of fades throughout the match. He's been playing more full 90s recently, but we saw towards the end of that Inter Milan game, they were favoring the left side going to Leao, trying to get that pace towards the end to burn some tired defenders. I think if he can make himself that number one option where they're looking to feed him the ball throughout the entirety of the match, that'll even bolster him even more.
I will say, I think they could even feed him more than what he's being fed now, and that would increase his numbers. There was a couple chances where Tammy Abraham or Rafa Leao are dribbling down. Pulisic makes a beautiful run wide open, and they go the opposite way to Leao, or they go to somebody else. And it's, I mean, if you're that guy, you're the star, which Rafa Leao kind of branded has been that for Milan. You get the benefit of the doubt to be like, oh, fuck it, I'm passing it to him. But if Pulisic can shift that to be like, oh, I'm giving it to Pulisic as much as I possibly can, I mean, these numbers could go increasing from here, not just continue. So, be fun to watch here, especially with Pochettino getting his hands on him for international play. We could be in for a treat here, boys. But let's move to our lock of the week competition. And boys, we continue to do pretty decently well here in terms of some decisions. Mike getting another point with a draw prediction. 2-2 for Palace and Manchester United. It was 0-0, but still a draw. So he gets the one. I gave Bournemouth a little bit more belief as I gave him 1 goal. They didn't get that. And then Leicester is so beautifully and correctly spelled there. Got the draw with the Toffees. Nick just 1 goal off there. But you know what? We appreciate the support there.
You ride.
Mike, as our clubhouse leader, who did you choose for your lock of the week for week 6?
We've heard this scoreline floated already on the podcast. It's Newcastle 1. It's Man City 4. Domination at St. James this weekend.
Yeah, so I was definitely not the only one that was thinking Manchester City could dominate this one.
No, you were not.
That's good. Good to hear.
I'm putting stake on it.
Yeah.
Forward to Man City. I like that pick, man. Nick, sitting at 4 points, just 1 point behind the clubhouse leader. What have you chosen here?
Again, I don't think it's going to be flashy. I think it's going to be a clean sheet, 3 points, and a very comfortable win. But I don't think it's going to be an absolute murder that maybe the matchup on paper suggests. I'm going Arsenal 2, Leicester 0. They can't screw me 2 weeks in a row, right? If Leicester pulls something out of the hat,
Why
here,
would you
they're
say that out loud?
my all-time enemies. I mean, I will burn down that city. King Power will no longer exist. I will mow their lawn, and I will mow it so bad that it just erases all memories of their 2015-16 championship. I will be furious.
Don't do
Those were some amazingly mowed lawns there. It is crazy that Leicester is still a team that we can pick, being the rules that we can't pick any of the bottom 3. What may be crazier is that Ipswich Town is available to be picked. So I picked Aston Villa to beat them 3-0. Aston Villa 3, Ipswich Town 0. I am so sorry, Ed Sheeran. But it's just wild that all these teams, winless, still able to be picked against. Respect to Mike for choosing a bit more of a good matchup with some big names, but also picking City is just a free win generator. So
Feels gross.
you know, we
Is that
all
the
do
first
our
time
own
someone's
things.
picked City this year? Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
Wow. Good for
I've
us.
been avoiding
stupid.
it for us.
We're great. No, that is high class
That
behavior. We do not
That
stand these fucking cheaters, bro.
And you're doing well.
Behavior.
Top 5 sportsmanship moments. YouTube compilation right here.
In high school sports, did they show you that video of like coach, it wasn't a penalty or whatever? Did you guys see that?
Yeah, dude. I touched the ball.
That was about like
Yeah,
honor.
they showed it. They
commercial.
showed it to us at like one of our early team meetings for JV soccer, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, what are you talking about?"
Coach, if
Hopefully
anybody
your coach
on this
said
team
never
said
do
that, I would hate them forever.
I was like, "As captain, I will kick their ass." Like that is not what is happening.
That is unacceptable behavior. Boys, another great weekend ahead of us. What are our final thoughts here before we sign off? Nick, I'll give it to you first.
Yeah, hey, Arsenal back in the win sheet this weekend. Up the Gunners. Excited for the boys. Look out for another Bukayo Saka assist from a corner. Can you believe Southgate had Foden over Saka taking corners? Jesus Christ.
He's a star boy. Mike, final thoughts before a big matchup for Everton, as really everyone is when you're stuck with 1 point at 5 weeks in.
Everton's got a pretty friendly run of games coming forward.
Let's go.
Crystal Palace,
Tottenham.
Newcastle, Ipswich, Fulham, Southampton. We're not playing any of the big hitters for a little bit. We need to start some form now. Start gradually picking up some points. We got our big man back in the back. Jared Branthwaite, expecting huge things. My favorite player in the club for sure. Surprised he stayed this summer. Show me why you're worth the money. Come on, you Toffs. Let's get 4 points.
Up the Toffs, up the Gunners. We will see you next time. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. We'd love to answer all your comments. Until next time, peace.